Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life Cafe. My name is Suzanne O'Brien. Welcome. So good to see you. I just did a Ask a Deaf Doula podcast with a man who is a wonderful man who wrote a book. He's a hypnotherapist by trade, and it's just so fascinating, again, the human experience, the common denominators, and the tools that we need to share with one another and need to know that we can use that can make such a difference, again, in this journey of what we call life. Because it's, as you well know, we're all aware that this is a challenge, and this is the lessons of life, and this is, again, something that has been really hard for many people. So what is it? What is this about? And again, we learn so much from the amazing space that we work in with those at the end of life. It'll teach you everything about life if we would just listen. So welcome to Life Cafe, where we meet in presence, where we meet in no judgment, and create that global community of love and really seeing and hearing one another. This is where the magic is, and that in that awareness that we're not here to fix each other. We're here to meet each other where we are. Open hearts, no judgment, in community, knowing that there are universal themes here that we talk about, that we're all connected. And if we embrace that concept and bring that back, the world is going to change, and it is changing. I already see it. Growth is painful. So this has been a very painful experience, but this is one of the brightest spaces of this time. And again, I'm so happy to be with you. So we are in Life Cafe. This is your group. So you can take it away when I'm admitting people. Sorry. So I'm just making sure. I really like to hand it over to you. I really want to hear from you. We, again, are a place of inclusion, no judgment, meeting each other where we are in that open-hearted, loving space in which we practice as doula givers, but we need to practice that in our lives every single day. So this is your time, whoever would like to share. And again, you can talk about absolutely anything you want. So many wonderful things happening in this area of care. So we can go on and on about lots of it, which again, we do. But again, I really want to hand it over to you, whoever would like to share. I see so many wonderful comments and all over the Facebook groups about different things that you all are doing. And it just, again, is an honor to be in such an amazing group and space with such positivity. And that's what we're all about. I continue to look for people in the that are joining late, so I don't ignore them at all, because sometimes they flip on and off of my screen. So I'm going to go into that in a minute, but we have Rita May and then we have Melissa. So let's start with that. So as the hands go up, I kind of call on Rita. Good to see you.
Hi, I know I've been away for like 2 months, traveling all over the world. One night I laid down at my parents' house, and I was with my sister, and I laid down and I was like, this is the 7th night in a row I've been in a different bed. So literally from, the islands to California to Pennsylvania, I've been all over, but I'm back now and I'm back in Life Cafe.
Well, good for you though. Yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah. So what I wanted to share was a few months ago, Frank, my husband's dad, and I had talked about the pancreatic, that he had a cyst, and then they didn't know if it was a tumor. So it was an ongoing thing. Well, they did finally in August, like almost 3 months later, they did say it was a cancerous, so pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. And so they're from the Azores, which is an island in Portugal, part of the 9 islands there. So we did get to go there. So we went in September, and we came back September 27th, and he had a stroke while he was over there, and he was in the hospital for 2 weeks. We were there for 6 weeks. So it was really touchy. I was like, praying, like, hopefully he makes it on the plane. It's like a 10-hour flight back to California. So he made it back. We got back September 27th. And then I had a trip to Pennsylvania for our mother-daughter. We do a mother-daughter thing, and it was like this year was the 24th year. So I was feeling like, about going, like I didn't want anything to happen to him while I was gone. I didn't want him to pass while I was gone. So I sat down on the floor and I was talking to him, and I was like, I'll be back October 13th. October 13th, I'll be back. because, I just didn't want to leave and have him leave. And so I went on the mother-daughter, and then on a Friday night, he went into the hospital. He was like throwing up. I don't know if it was blood or dark, like that mineral from the organs breaking down. And then, so he went in the hospital. They sent him home on Saturday on hospice. And then so I ended my mother-daughter trip early. I was going to come back Tuesday. So I flew back Sunday morning. And that was whatever day that was, October 10th. And then, so I got there, went straight to their house, and I got to be with him. And so I was back October 10th. And then, so it was really what the beautiful part that I wanted to share, and thank you. So this is about gratitude, is the calmness that I had, like the awareness. When hospice came in, I got to experience a different hospice because they're about 2 hours away from us. So it was a different hospice organization, and they were all wonderful. But it was just because of the volunteering that I've done, and then with this training, like the medical side of it, like you said, and just being able to be peace and comfort. And because his wife and Frank, his wife and son, they get more excited and all that. So I was able to be that grounded presence, and it gave his dad comfort. So Frank says, my dad loved you, and he was, great, happy that you were there and all that. But I got to see him smile. So this day, the day he started the morphine, so all of since I've known him, almost a decade since I've known him, he's always been in pain, and he's always, his tummy, and so he's just always been in pain and discomfort. And so he got that first little dose, they called baby dose, 0.5 and of the morphine. And then he was sitting up in a chair at that point, and he had this smile that I've never seen. And he said, I feel so happy. And he said, he's like, thank you. They speak Portuguese, but he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate. He says, I feel happy. And it was just so beautiful. So of course it's sad, so it's bittersweet. But I'm just grateful, like I said, for this class, this training, and you, and just the calmness, the grounding that I felt, and that I was able to be there for them, and to translate and reassure his mom, of what they're doing, because she has, doesn't always understand everything. And so just to be able to relay that and be the middle person there. And then when he did pass, so he passed on October 13th. So remember I said, I'll be back October 13th. And before I left, this was the piece. Before I left to go to Pennsylvania, he said, after I said that like twice, he said, I'll wait for you. So that gave me the peace, like, okay, I can go to Pennsylvania. So I went, and then I came back early, and it just turned out to be October 13th was the day that he passed. And but we all were there. His mom was at the head. I was at his back doing Reiki and praying, and Frank was at his foot of the bed. And so we were all there when he took his last breath, but he was at peace.
Oh, yes.
And that was so beautiful, like to finally see him after all these years. And so I just wanted to share that. I was excited to come back on and join the group again, but I just wanted to thank you. And it was fast, and his wife and Frank, they didn't think it was going to be that fast. And I'm like, I was trying to prompt them, like, do the things, say the things, and but they just didn't think it was going to be that fast. And so he is now at peace, but I'm just so grateful that I got to be there. And for me, because how everybody has their own little relationship and the dynamics of relationships. So him and I, so we have this little relationship, and I felt like I connected with him, he connected with me, and he had a smile. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Oh, what a wonderful way to start today. And it's just everything. So first of all, thank you for being there for him and his family. But I also just want people to hear, when we look back on end of life, which we know is 100% guaranteed in our journey, when we can look back on it with those moments, with that in our hearts, with, I feel that smile of his. I feel the love and the healing and the energy around that. It's magical. And the other thing that's so important that Rita shared is that when you come in to be of service in this space, when you've got tools, when you have some knowledge that you know what's happening, it creates a groundedness within you that you walk, you're holding that space for this family, this person in this journey, and that energy is contagious. So whether or not people know exactly what's happening in that moment, when you're there and you create that, it helps to ground everyone. And when they know that you've had experience in the space, taken a class, and you're not freaking out, then they say, well, maybe we shouldn't either. There's a lot of dynamics that are happening at once. But for this man to be able to smile and to be at peace, and again, I feel like, and hear me out, 4 bodies of energy in all of us, as that, and you'll witness this more and more as you work in the space, as that physical part of us, that physical body, the ego is dissolving. It's literally almost dissolving in front of us, diminishing. The spiritual body is growing. And with that, there is a place that's going to be so incredibly healing and magical that will allow you to never look at life the same. And that's why when we take away end of life from being part of our journey, our children's journey, like just the natural fold of it, we have done such a crazy disservice. And that's, to me, a huge part of why we have all this chaos out there. Because when you have those moments of being in that presence of alignment and energy and love and connection, service fulfillment, it changes you. And so again, when you look back on somebody that you love not being here physically anymore, but you have those moments, it is just everything you could ever hope for. So Rita, beautiful, well done, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Love it. Melissa.
I'm going to be very short today. In the same vein of gratitude, Suzanne and folks, I'm going to do a little pitch here. You know, a lot of what we do in these various groups that we have under Suzanne's, it's a church for me. I don't know what it is for the rest of you, but you know, a lot of things bleed over from one group to the next, from one conversation to the next, because so much of this is all overlapping and tied together and all of a one. So if any of you are considering joining the ULM group and haven't really looked into it or given it a hard look at, I can't tell you what an amazing place that is. If you can imagine something that might even take you a level higher than where we are right now. I strongly encourage you, and you know, if anyone wants to talk to me offline, you're welcome to message me and I'll be happy to have a call with you and tell you about why I think it's so great. But in the gratitude vein, Suzanne, a number of us in that call the other day were discussing challenging mothers, you know, difficult, strained relations with our mothers and sort of reconciling things as they age and pass on. And I wrote down these words, ask your mother to forgive you. So instead of me forgiving my mother, like I've spent decades forgiving my mother for being an alcoholic and not being, you know, together. But Suzanne presented us with this idea, this concept of asking my mother to forgive me for expecting her to be someone else that she couldn't be. And I have to tell you that those words, I haven't gotten more than 30 seconds away from them since Monday, was it? I sat down and had an hour conversation with my husband about it yesterday, and it blew him away. And usually he's pretty cool about, you know, some of these places where I like to go, but he was blown away by it. And this now has already, in like 48 hours, completely recharacterized my relationships with so many different people in my family, outside my family, in the business world, in the nonprofits that I work for. I mean, it's a completely different paradigm. I'm literally not the same person that I was when I woke up on Monday morning. And so I have, you know, Suzanne elaborated on this by saying, you know, once we stop looking for validation outside of ourselves, we win. All right. These concepts are so important. Yes. They may not specifically be, you know, like about being a doula, but they are about being a fully integrated person. And, you know, we all have heard Suzanne say 1,000 times, we have to meet people where they are. And I've spent a lot of time, and my husband and I were talking about this also. What does that mean? Meet them where they are, because does that mean they have to meet us where we are? And lots of times they don't want to meet us. They don't want to meet us even a fraction. And so this whole idea that all we really need to do is adjust our expectations, because we live in such a judgmental society, at least in the US we do, where we're all judging each other. Our bosses are judging us, our families judging us, our parents are judging us, our kids are judging us while we're judging them. It's just, it's just awful. It's really awful. We can't even see who other people are, because it's like having cataracts. Our eyes, the lens is so clouded in our ability to really see who people are and to really appreciate who they are as individuals, when we're so busy measuring up whether they meet our expectations of what they should be or what their role should be. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I just couldn't contain it. I'm leaving for Utah in the morning, and I needed to get that off my chest.
Off your heart.
Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. So I just want to elaborate a little bit more on that, but thank you. And you, like, literally, I could literally just float around today, because there's so much love already in my life in such a short amount of, how many hours have I been awake? And this is just such a gift to be present and to be in the flow with all of these amazing human beings and energies. So I want to just elaborate. Lots of people might not know what ULM is. It's the Universal Life Mastery Class. It's something that I've been wanting to do this for years and years and years. And I really do, because we have a lot of the threads within the doula training. But I also know that when we're working with people at the end of life, there's healing and there's things that come up, and I'm thinking, okay, what can we roll back into our lives? Those universal language of what I call death teaches us about life. But in January, and I'll share all this, we'll have a wonderful webinar. We'll have something to show you. And I've come up with 3 different tiers for people that they can join however they want to, because these are so powerful and empowering about life. About just what Melissa said, if you can change that perspective. And I do have to acknowledge that this statement I heard from Iyanla Van Zant in one of her shows, when she said to this, and it just blew me away, when she said, you need to ask forgiveness from your mother, who was a heroin addict and a prostitute and all of that, and not there for you. And the child says, I'm so angry. She left me. She wasn't here, which we can all understand, right? Of course. She said, no, ask her for forgiveness, for expecting her. I'm going to start crying, for expecting her to be what she couldn't be, that you were putting that on her. And I got to tell you, wow. And knowing that we talk about that all the time, that people come in with their own journeys and their own, what I call work to do, your spiritual assignments. I really call them spiritual assignments, because my belief system is that we come in with an awareness and a blueprint of what we're going to, and we sign up for it, what we're going to experience, in the hopes for that evolution of birthing our soul in this human experience, because that's what it's about. And sometimes we run from that, or the pain is too heavy, or we self-medicate, or whatever it is. And it's all great, because it's no judgment. But when you look at it from that perspective, wow, does that ever change the game and free you up? And so I love that Melissa said she's done that with every person in her life, and it changed the whole dynamic, because yes, it does. So it's these little things, again, that are major shifts. And it's when you change your thinking, the way you think, what you see and how you experience life changes. So we'll share more about that. And I am so thrilled. And I love your husband being, because you often heard the expression, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. When you are ready, something will happen and it will land. It will land. You will take it in. You will integrate that in, and it will change your whole incredible journey. So anyway, it's all about love. It's
Yesterday, I received in the mail a book that I did not order.
Nice.
Okay. I have no idea where it came from.
Mhm.
Some of you may have heard of it. It's called, I think it's called 22 talk shifts or 20 talk shifts. I'm going to go run and get it in a minute. I'll show it to you. It's
Okay.
just, it's about like these very slight changes in the way we interact. 20 of the most common things we say to people all day long, how
Yeah.
it can really change your life. It was on the bestseller list or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
like out of the blue.
Yep. I love that. Listen, when you show up for the universe shows up for you in all ways, shapes, and forms. So don't even question it. Say thank you, embrace it, love it, bring more of it. Because when you start showing up again to be in that heart alignment of service, magic happens. And that's what this is about. So birth your soul in this human experience. Let's do it together. Let's just create that positivity and love and joy. Less fighting, more dancing. That's kind of what I hear all day today. So great. Thank you so much for that. Who else would like to share? And again, this doesn't always, we want to hear anything that you want to share. What's happening with your world, clients? Are you blocked in any way? Do you just, want to share some insights? It doesn't always, there's lots of love and positive things, but I don't want you to feel, if you're having a challenge, that this is not the place. This is the place. We're going to love on you. Karen.
Hello.
Hey.
Just to add on what Melissa was saying, I know years ago, when I was working with clients, they would come so frustrated that, their parents were giving them such a hard time because they weren't living up to their expectations and all that kind of stuff. And so the other end of that was, well, do you feel that you were put on this earth to fulfill your parents' expectations? And they were real indignant. No, I was not put on this earth to fulfill my parents' expectations. I was not. And then you would flip it and say, were they put on earth to fulfill yours? And there would be silence. And it's like, in that moment, people honor each other's paths, and you hope that you can be in communion and communication and work together, but with that fresh perspective of, wait a minute, why do I feel that I'm not here to fulfill anyone's expectations? I'm here on my own life path, and then flip it and honor the other person as well. So I appreciate Melissa bringing that up. The other thing I wanted to share last week, I was so excited because I had a little 92-year-old lady getting out of hospice. She was put in there just because her adult children had COVID, until they could find someone to come in a couple hours a day and kind of help support the adult child that didn't have COVID. And so I connected with them, and it was so neat because I was able to use all my tools of, going into the home before she got there and assessing for safety and making sure the caregiver was supported and making sure hospice had in place everything that I knew she would need, being a COPD patient, being elderly. And at the time I was talking to the adult kids and just saying, well, because the mom was very mobile using a walker before she went into hospice, she was only there for 5 days. And my communication with them was, you might not expect your mom to be that ambulatory because, once someone that elderly is in bed for 5 days, even 5 days, there might be a difference. So we kind of prepared for that. And that was Wednesday when I was talking with everyone. I was all excited because, I had worked out my fee schedule and all that kind of stuff. And I was starting Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. She was released from hospice Wednesday evening, and they said they were surprised because she's pretty much the same. She's still getting around with her walker. And, they implemented some safety concerns that I had. I was to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. At 8:15, I got a phone call that said she passed. So I was like, what's that all about? To be so ready and have this energy and this love and this, just gratitude for being able to help this family. And she passed. So I really had to process that for a couple of days, thinking it was like a grieving period. Certainly not for the woman because she was 92 and very well supported and loved, and not even so much for the adult children, who had been walking this path with her. But I think I was feeling sorry for myself because I was so excited to be of service and to walk this path with them. And it was like the rug was yanked out from under me. And then I started feeling selfish. And then, it was like a couple days of my mind just trying to process what's going on, you know, to come so close to be in that intimate service for someone. And then
Okay, Karen, I have to stop you for 1 second because you were in contact with the children and planning and doing things, right? So I have
Yes.
to ask you this with so much love. Why do you feel you weren't of service?
I guess because I never got to connect directly with the woman, you know, to be that kind of transitional guide for her.
Okay, but a doula, as you are,
Right.
for that person and all of the family elements, and there's so many layers to the work that you do that you are and were and are still being of service. So this is important for you to hear. And I love your self-awareness of saying, oh, you know, why am I feeling? And I love that because we want to be honest with that and say where that's coming from. But I really have to just share with you, why do you feel that you weren't of service? You were of great service.
Yeah, I did afterwards. A couple of the adult children called and again thanked me and, you know, let me know that they felt so confident that their mom would be in good hands had she, you know, lived. But yeah, I mean, I just was really, like I said, it was
Yeah, I know. You
went
wanted,
from
you
one
wanted to
extreme
get,
to the other.
yeah, you wanted to get your yummy hands around her and hug her and love her up because she sounds wonderful. But I do think that you coming into the mix actually prepared this family with awarenesses that they may not have had for her departure. And I think that that was a real support as well, because, you know, 92, God bless her heart, doing her thing. But, you know, what I'm seeing right now is that when we completely are removed from the awareness that, you know, one day that person is going to have the end of life, it impacts us in such terrible, deep layers of grief and ways. And it's like crazy because I've had patients that are in their 90s and they get a terminal diagnosis and the family says to the doctor, what do you mean she has a terminal diagnosis? Fix it. So you even just being in here and some of your teachings and awareness, I think really helped to layer and prepare that departure of her.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I think the analogy when I was meditating and praying about it, I felt like my heart was the center of this like ripple to the family, to this place, to the sacred thing.
That's
and
right.
then it stopped. It's like, okay, so yeah, I just, you know, wanted to share the other part of that loop.
Yes, and I think it's really important for us to do that and to be honest about that, but also to understand really what your dynamic scope of practice is. And it's not just in this physical plane. I'm just going to go there for a minute. It's not just here. So there are things that go on, as we know, we talk about it, that are layered. And so when you're working with a family and you're holding that space for them, even in your home, when you're thinking about this woman in the family and how to help, that energy goes out. And so lots that you did, you have to, I think the hardest thing about being a doula giver is when things don't go the way we think they're going to go, or that we know that they could go really well, because it's not our journey. And we have to be okay with that. Now, that being said, you put everything in place with acute issues and all of that, but know that you're helping on so many different levels that you're probably not even consciously aware of at this moment. So anywhere if you show up with a pure heart to be of the highest service, the universe is going to take care of everything else. That is so freeing, by the way, to get out of my own way and to just say, show me where to be of service, how to be of service. And I know that it all works out in its divinity. It really does. So thank you for your service. You did beautiful service, but I know what it's like to fall in love with these older people or just people in general, because it's the most wonderful thing. So I feel like, yes, you feel that you are missing out on that, but there'll be somebody right around the corner for you. I adopt grandmas and grandpas all the time just because I absolutely love them. And a lot of times they don't have family. Nicole.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm loving this morning's shares. I guess it's this afternoon's. I had to disappear and cry for a minute when Melissa was talking. Got it under control. I'm sharing because there's nowhere else good to share this. I woke up this morning having been on this planet 14,712 days, which is one day more than Mark. And it's got me far more reflective than I thought it would be. Just the concept of a lifetime. Like he's gone after 14,711 days in his person suit, and that was a whole lifetime. So in a sense, today feels like a bonus day, and they all feel like bonus days, because if that was a lifetime, then what am I doing with, I'm only 40. Maybe there's going to be another 40 years. Maybe there is enough time left to make a whole nother lifetime. And I'm excited about the direction that my life has gone in the last 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day since he passed. But I just wanted to share that. It feels important today. There's a lot of significance to that.
I love that. And I think that we can't get too much of that, because I think, again, that's the number one regret of dying patients, is that they didn't live the life they knew they were supposed to live. And it's because of that false, oh, I have time, I have time, I have time. So if you live, and I was explaining this today, I really try and live each day like one little lifetime. And the minute that I started working for hospice is when I started to live the fullest.
Yes.
Because of that connection, because of that awareness. I remember coming home from work and being able to take my dog around the lake on a beautiful day and saying, look how grand this is. Amazing. The fact that I could go to the grocery store, the fact that I could go to the gym changed everything for me. So if you live every day, make it small, right? Don't think we have forever, because we know we don't. But if you say, what's important to me? Just in this day, and you know what? Again, getting out of my own way, saying it's not my agenda, whatever is meant here, I'm just going to show up, but I want to be present in this every single day and be grateful and be kind and be of service. Then I think we're good, right? So I love that awareness, Nicole. Thank you for that. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Barbara and then Natalia. Where'd you go? You jumped.
There. Okay.
There you go.
Sorry, I couldn't get unmuted.
Oh, that's okay.
Nicole, thank you for sharing that. You're so strong. I don't know how you do it, but I don't know if I could do that. When Suzanne was talking about adopting grandparents all the time, I do that with the TRC calls that I do for the VON with older patients. I guess they're not real patients, they're living alone. So I make sure they're safe every day. And if not, then if I don't get answers, then I call the VON and they call the next of kin or whatever. They get really close to you after I've been talking to them for 2 years. And so if one of them disappears, which I had an older gentleman to do that, it kind of breaks your heart just a little bit. So, but I wanted to share it because last week I got a hold of the VON, and hospice is supposed to be calling me Friday. So it looks like I'll be able to get my hours at hospice, and I'm not sure what extra I have to do in Canada here, whether there's extra rules or whatever with the COVID and with just regular government policy and all that. But yay. I just wanted to share.
That's beautiful and so exciting. I have this vision that I hold of the doula houses and having a place where elders can come, or people can come and age in a holistic family style environment of love, and however they're able to participate, let's do it. And just that social, non-judgmental, like all the things we practice, but having it be where people can be together if they so choose. And you know what? A lot will choose that. So that's a vision I hold. Yeah, it is amazing. It's a vision I hold. And I know that things will happen, because look what we're doing now. And if you talk to me 15, 18 years ago when this concept was being birthed, there was no, it won't work. It's not a government licensure, yada, 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 because we forgot about the human component. So when you see the obstacles in front of us about, the reimbursement and all, listen, you figure out a way, guys, you get creative. This is the time for change. So I do believe it will happen, but I love that, because when you're making these phone calls to these wonderful people, wouldn't it be great that we're, able to be together and play some music and have some adopted animals running around, or whatever it is, we'll figure it out. So I'm excited for you, Barbara. Yay. And thank you for that share and what you do. It means a lot. And I think when COVID hit too, there, we threw up 3 life cafes a week for over a year, which is really amazing. One of the things that we said to each other is, can we make compassionate phone calls? Just pick somebody who's isolated, alone, and just that 5-minute check-in, just saying, hey, I'm here for you. Think about that. 5-10-minute phone call can mean everything to somebody else. We should never determine what's of value and what isn't of value. It's subjective, but you know what? I'll tell you what is always of value is being kind and compassionate. Yes, and that is just meeting each other and being in that consciousness. Okay, I love that share. There was another hand. Where did you go?
It's me, it's Natalia.
Hello, Natalia. Did you take your hand down? Because is that why I did? Okay.
Yes,
Hello, my
I
love.
did.
How are you?
No, I just, when you were sharing, you and Nicole were talking, I got reminded of something I heard, that to shift our perspective, when life is overwhelming, you say, I have to take out the dog. I have to, wake up my kids or, pack up their lunch. And instead of saying I have to, saying I get to. And that kind of shifts the perspective as well, right? I get to walk my dog and I get to enjoy this beautiful, fall weather or whatever. So when you said, appreciate those little moments, that's what I got reminded of.
Natalia, that is so good. So listen, your ego and the way that we talk to ourselves is absolutely everything for the energy that you create, that what your body actually listens to. So if you're continuously in a heaviness, in a negative, your body takes that on and becomes very stressed. But just like what she's saying, it's a total shift in how you look at something. And this is really everything. I think I'm going to write a book on like, this is what we say, this is what we should say. But just what she said, I have to go to the grocery store. How many? And I mean, myself too, right? Oh, I got to go to the grocery. How lucky we are that we get to go to the grocery store, that we're able to go buy food, that we have that ability to walk through that door, but to have the money to buy groceries. I mean, it changes everything. And that's what perception is. So Natalia,
Exactly.
thank you for that awareness.
I get chills just,
I get
hearing you
chills
talk.
too. And so, yes, ma'am. And what that is a practice. So there's no judgment again. So the thing that we don't want to do is say, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I'm not doing a good job. No, not judgment, but just switching it up, because I often think, and this is crazy, but not crazy, but this is like, how my background is. When I was an RN working in the hospital, you had to override the computer system with another nurse. You had to use codes and override it to get a narcotic PRN that wasn't scheduled out. You need to override the neurons, the nerve pathways, the thinking. You have to switch it up. And the more awareness that we bring in and the more switching it up, it will become the dominant. So, and I often think again of our verbiage in the medical profession. What are we talking about when we say, I'm so sorry, there's no more I can do. He lost his battle with cancer. Keep fighting. We've set this up to be a completely losing space, and that's not what it is. So I think we have to be very mindful of all that. So Natalia, thank you. We'll work on a book on what we say, what we should say, and then eventually we'll get there. And I think it's great. Thank you so much. Rita.
I wanted to share about a connection also that this, and then having the courage also to just put myself out there. So, I've done a few death cafes. I do once a month virtually and then once a month in person at our hospice. And so they're doing it in conjunction with me to support and get it out there to the community. And they set up an email for me on their email. So there was this one lady who responded to the death cafe, and she said about do you offer counseling or whatever one-on-one? And they have the bereavement group, but they don't really have like ongoing one-on-one. And so I checked with them and they didn't. And I was like, well, under the doula, I can, doula grief support, right? Mm-hmm. So I responded to her email, and it was just like her response back was just like, 1 or 2, 3 words, just real short. And I'm like, okay, so I'll just meet her where she is and just respond back. So we went back and forth like 6 or 7 different dialogues. And finally I connected with her. And so what it was is her mom had passed away in June 2nd. And so just a lot of things happened. And so I just wanted to share that it was, you know, that putting that out there and then getting to share and explain about the doula, the givers and the end of life doula and all that, and being able to connect. So it wasn't directly, she didn't come to the cafe, but still I was able to make a connection and share, you know, everything that I'm able to share with her. And so
I love
she
it.
said she will come to a cafe, you know, she said she will come now, but I just, it was just like a seed that just had
That's it.
grown. And
You're planting seeds, and remember, don't be attached to the outcome.
Mhm.
Know that you're called here because you have this gift and you're being asked by the universe to show up in this space, and you show up in this space, and don't be attached to the outcome. Don't be attached if people, you know, say fantastic all the time, or don't be attached if you only have 10 people show up. Guys, I've had workshops in the day where 3 people showed up, you know, and it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. So you're planting seeds all along. So I do want to share with you all something now, is that we're always constantly saying, how can we help this to be the message, bring it back into the natural fold of life? And I want to be very honest with you, hospice does not have the best reputation for multiple reasons. And I think not because of anything that they're doing or not doing. I think it's this whole perfect storm with end of life right now. But they're the end of life support, and they're a wonderful organization. So what can we do? How can we help to create a makeover or whatever it is? So for us with Doula Givers, it's always, again, and always has started with giving free family caregiver end of life doula training so that people have the skills, because as a hospice nurse, I expect the family to do just that, take care of that dying loved one. I'm supposed to teach them, but all these things don't work out. The late time that people are on it, the fear of end of life. Right now I come in, people are actively dying, putting Band-Aids on. I'm there for an hour at a time. It doesn't work. So we wanted to say, hey, let's branch out this level 1, which, by the way, we have gotten the most incredible responses from around the world, because we die everywhere, right? It brings us together, it unites us. How can we create a platform to offer this to people everywhere, including hospices to their communities? Because if people had this training or this adjunct support, it would take a lot of the pressure off of that hospice nurse and team. So we've created the 1 Million People Trained campaign, and that's going to be launched November 1st, which is on Monday. What that is taking the level 1, allowing us again to create this global community and message, and allow a free training to be accessed from anywhere in the world by anyone. But we're going to be approaching hospices and saying, hey, we know that you can't get in there and teach these families from start to finish because of all these variables. Would you like our doulas? Would you like me? Would you like us to be able to create awareness and trainings in your community? And even you can partner with us as a collaborating organization, doesn't cost them a penny, to say, hey, I am, let's just say Angels Hospice. I'm just pulling something out of the air. Angels Hospice, Santa Fe, and we collaborate with Doula Givers offering these. We're going to share with you how you can take this online training, or if there's an in-person one. And for you doulas that have those progressive hospices, which there are many, who are saying, oh, I'm interested in this doula thing, you can propose this to them, that they can be part as a collaborating partner, and you can be that person who makes that connection. And then you can hold the level 1s, or you can hold the Q&As, or you can let people know. It's amazing. So it's right now on doulagivers.com website, and everyone globally is invited to this space. I'm going to share my screen for a minute because I'm going to bring you in. So I want to let you know that anyone is able to do this, and I want you to, and it's going to be big. We're starting on Monday with Nuvance Healthcare. So we're starting with a major medical, I love this, my screen, a major medical corporation knows that they can't supply everything, but knows how valuable this is. So if you go to doulagivers.com, you guys, and if you haven't been to the website in a while, it's all changed. Everything is new. I know, it's so exciting, and the team has worked so hard. So you go to 1 Million campaign, and I'm just going to quickly bring you in there because I want you all to collaborate with us and just know about it. So right now we have 124,000 people that have taken the level 1 globally in 24 countries. The emails, the response has been, I mean, testimonial after testimonial of healing grief, of the empowerment. It's so beautiful. So this page is up. It'll explain what it is, why it's important, and what you can do. They can take the level 1, so they can click here and go live online every month. So this is where you want to, or you can share, and let me, you click there where it says downloadable materials, and we're going to be continuing to add. You can go right now to this and have swipe copy emails that we've made for you to share. Like, everything is here for you. The graphics, Facebook posts. Let me just show a couple of different things there. Learn the skill, change the world. It's kind of like what we do. So we're going to be adding to this. We're going to have a testimonial page. 3 things that this training does is it empowers people to have the skills, just like Rita started today, with being able to be grounded and be present for those loved ones at this moment. It heals grief. So many people talk about the healing that has taken place through this training, which is I don't want to say it's a full surprise, but it's amazing, because we're suffering from so much grief, and it inspires. And here's Eva, and this is just from, I pulled so many from the 21st of October's webinar, which, by the way, we have thousands of people every month that sign up, that she's never been more excited about life and learning. So it inspires us. So all of those are able to be there as well. And this is something that every one of you can take part in. And again, it's going to teach what it is and why it's important, and then what people will learn, who is it for, what people say. So those are just a few about myself, my background, and a healing vision for our world. And it really, this says everything, that we need to bring back the teachings of end of life, the support of end of life, and we're in this together. So what I would say, and the vision, is that hospice is having a very difficult time with the late time frame that people come on the services, with the, and I don't want to say bad rap, but yeah, they do. A lot of times, I'll hear, well, hospice came in and the next thing you know, my loved one had died. And it's like, wait a minute. The truth of the fact is that we don't talk about death, so people don't come on till the very, very last moment. And yes, then we have, I'm trying to make my screen bigger. I'm trying to see y'all again. And then what happens is you have somebody who's actively dying in the last few days of life. And of course, medications are usually needed to help with breathing and pain. And that person dies. And all of a sudden, oh, hospice came in, and the next thing you know, they're dead. No, guys, we just have to roll this back. We just have to talk about it. So there's so many reasons. And if we, as doula giver ambassadors and just people in this space, can get out there and do our death cafes or our community service and offer this and let people know this is here. And if hospices can be open-minded enough, which I think many are, to say, yeah, this isn't working, well, we can help you. Not only can we help you, but we can also help families to understand the value and what hospice does and how important it is to get people on that support as early as possible. It's a game changer. So I want to invite you all to be part of this. There's going to be lots that we do with it. We're putting a lot of our resources and our training and our time into it. Why? Because every one person we help that has a positive end of life, it's a win. And guess what? We need this so much right now, and it's working, and it's working. So we're going to do everything we can to show up in that space. If anyone has any questions on that, just let me know. And I just wanted to share that. So let's get back to, I got to see everybody. Who else has some questions or anything about, and just unmute yourself and start talking if you don't mind while I'm trying to get back into that full screen. Okay, stop share. That'll work. There you go. Hello, everybody. Okay, if anyone has any questions or comments on that, that'll be an ongoing campaign. And I said, okay, well, when we get to 1 million, we'll go for 5 million. And we get for 5 million, we'll go for 10 million. And we'll help communities build doula giver support and services that are underprivileged or that need it so they can have their own resources. This is why we're here. We're here together to make the change. And this is making a huge change. So, all right. Anyone want to do a last share before we start to wrap up everything? Okay. Well, I hope I didn't overwhelm you with that. just remember that I think, you know, the power here is that death is our unifier, and it's our unifier about life. You know, it's just that we think we're so different. We're pointing fingers at each other. And when you're in that space, just like, again, when Rita was sharing that end of life, there's so much connection and love. And this is everywhere and anywhere in the world, guys, anywhere and everywhere in the world, with every population, with every culture, with every socioeconomic status. And this should not be a privilege. An end of life and being supported should not be a privilege. It's a human right. And we can do this just by being aware, just by showing up for one another. With that, let's bring in our light and our prayer and send it out. And again, we don't have to be doing all the time. We have to remember to be, to just be, to be present, open that heart and send out that love. And I love when Melissa, thank you so much for your share today. The holidays are coming up, and the holidays it's so interesting, right? Because there's all this, the holidays and Christmas, and it's such a heavy time for so many, from our past and from childhood and from people that are not with us anymore, whatever that means, family dynamics, all of that, right? And if we can sit for a moment and think in terms of those beautiful universal laws and lessons about meeting people where they are, having no judgment, but please forgive me for wanting you to be somebody you couldn't be. Gosh, guys, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, whoever it is, even, even the, I don't want to say anything negative, but anyway, even that person who really is disruptive sometimes in the thing, forgive me for expecting you to be something that you can't be. Gosh, it just like frees every part of that. So I hope that you take that in and sit with that for a little bit, because it really is life-changing. All right, we're going to do our deep breaths. We're going to bring in our light. We're going to bring it into ourselves and then send it out to the world, because it starts with you. It starts with you. And so remember that you've got to fill yourself up first to be of service to others, or you're going to be depleted, or you're not going to be in balance. And so this is part of the practice. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths, like we're breathing a beautiful flower, and then out through our mouth. So we're going to breathe in. Here we go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. Breathe in and hold and let it go. And let go of everything and anything that is not serving your highest consciousness. The law of energy in the human experience is that it is all about choice. It is all about intention. Think in terms of when you have a thought that you're creating an energetic highway, whether you want that highway and to go down it or not. So be mindful of what you think, because as you think thoughts and you put them out there, whatever it is, it's building this energetic highway and pathway. So again, be mindful of what you choose, but hold that intention very clearly of what is in your heart and purpose, and sit with that, because it will build that bridge for you. It'll build that highway for you that you will go down every single day. Now you are imagining that you are outside, but the clouds now part and the sun is so bright right above your head. The skies are blue. The sun is so bright. That warmth is like a warm hug of love. That sun is coming right above the top of your head, closer and closer. Your eyes are closed, but you see orange and yellow, and you feel such tingly joy. Yes, happiness, joy, peace, serenity, connection, all at once. Now that sun is opening up the top of your head. You might even feel a little tingling at the top of your head, and it is pouring into your being this golden, loving, unconditional love. Just pouring into your body again, like this beautiful hug. You are so happy. You are so connected. And it's going down your spine, through your chakras, and washing away anything and everything energetically that has been stuck, that is sitting there, that is not serving your highest consciousness, because that is what our intention is setting. Washing away anything again that is not serving us, going through your root chakra to the center of the earth, swirling around, because in truth, we are all connected to everything, including this incredible planet. This planet is such a source of wisdom and healing, and we don't use it. Connect with it. Give your worries, give your fears, give your pain to Mother Earth. She will take it from you. She will hold you. She will heal you. And now that is swirling around the center of the earth. As it comes back up, it's coming through your root chakra and coming up your spine through all of your chakras again. Now you are fully connected in this golden, loving light. It's going to come back down and it's going to expand about 6 feet from your body. Now it's encompassing all of your aura. Oh, all your cells are just dancing and joyful. You are fully aligned in this golden light, pouring down your spine, going through your root chakra. And now it's swirling around the center of the earth, but it's picking up momentum. And when it picks up momentum, we are going to now, with intention, send it out through our heart chakra to everyone in this world, everyone and everything. If you are called, please put your hands on your heart chakra. And as this light comes bursting through your root chakra, now it's coming through your heart chakra. You send it out to each and everyone in this group, swirling around each and every one of you, just dancing and loving and so happy. Now we're going to expand that light further to the loved ones and your family members. Now we're expanding that light further to your community members where you live. Now we're going to take the state and or province that you live in and surround it in a golden bubble of light. We're meeting every single person where they are in their journey with no judgment, with unconditional love right now. That is where the healing will take place, if they want to pick it up, if they want to see it. That is what is going to be the thing that allows them to dissolve their defenses, their anger, their fear, their running scared. And when you show up with no judgment, with that unconditional love, meeting people where they are, it gives them an opportunity to step into this space. But we don't judge. We don't judge. Now, please take the country that you live in your mind's eye and surround it in a golden bubble of love and light. Now, please take that beautiful earth globe with all of its colors, with all of the majestic energy that it has in your mind's eye, and surround it with a golden bubble and or a golden pyramid of light, that every being, that every part of nature, that every element and every animal be sent and feel this unconditional loving light. At this time, please add in anyone or anything you want this group healing to be sent to. And we have so many people that are having, again, challenging times right now, in addition to the challenges of the world at large. We send them so much love. We send them so much light. We are here, we see you, and we are here with you, because what happens to one happens to all of us. Happens to all of us. So send love and healing, and please add in that person or persons or situation that you want this group healing to be sent to. And at this time, we always want to express the deepest gratitude for being able to be part of this journey at this time, to be able to be with such an amazing group of beings to do it with. And we always ask to see, hear, and know how we may show up to be of the highest service to ourselves and others at this time and always. Breathe into that. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. Throw up some hearts, everyone, if you feel it, or any reaction if you so choose. Love this group so very much in community. Thank God for all of you. What an amazing space. When life is so challenging, there are so many positive, amazing things happening, and you are the change. So thank you so much for being here. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. Mwah. I will see you in our Facebook groups.